House knows homes. Indeed, House also knows football. Tim Collum letting us take it to the house each and every week here on Studio 40 Live. Sadly, Gary out this week, and we're going to talk. Instead of Gary, we're going to go football. Can I have it? Bring it in. Thank you. We are going to talk to Leo, our fantasy expert. Leo, I know you were tracking the very playoff game that guy and I were embroiled in. And who came out the victor? This guy. I hate to kick a guy when he's down, but I won the playoff game, Leo. I won it.
Moki, there are literally millions of playoff games in this country, around the world, and I was only watching yours of all the playoff games. Who advanced? You, baby.
I did.
It's fantastic. Let's go over the results of what happened in your game. First, let me say that it was a tight game.
It was tight.
You got your money's worth, right?
Definitely got my money's worth. I mean, it came down. We both started terribly, and I kind of picked it up at the end. You saw I had Cooper Kupp, 0 points. I started Brock Purdy against your what you said. When it's raining, he's got small hands, don't do it. And I left him in the starting lineup, and you're probably saying, buddy, what are you doing?
Yeah, so first of all, for Gary, the silver lining is that there were no players on his bench that he could have played that would have won him the game. Mm-hmm. So at least he just lost to a better team on that day, and so there's no regrets. And so I like that. And then obviously, I mean, you hit it on the head. You left Justin Herbert on the bench, and you didn't listen to me, but that's fine. The rain's just a disaster for Brock Purdy and his small hands, and he also, and you also got bit by the same issue with Cooper Kupp. That being said, I couldn't justify in any situation starting Quentin Johnson over Cooper Kupp. I mean, Cooper Kupp's a legitimate star, and Quentin Johnson's a guy who's struggling, and he's early in his career. The moral of the story is you got to make good decisions. You got to hope for good results.
That's right.
And in your case, Smokey, even though you made a bad decision by starting Purdy over Herbert, it ultimately didn't matter. And that's the beauty of fantasy football, is because 85% of it is literally luck. You just don't want to get in the habit of making bad decisions and hoping for good results, because that usually does not work out in your favor, because the percentages are clearly against you. If you play a 30-70 bet and you win 30% of the time, that means you're going to lose 70% of the time. And if you keep doing that over and over, if you win the first two, and then you're like, hey, I want to keep repeating this bad mistake because I'm getting good results, you're going to get punished in the long term.
Indeed. All right. Hey, we're seeing some video there of the Niners. Seeing Purdy, my quarterback. Mostly McCaffrey, though. I want to ask you this. I don't know who to characterize as one of the biggest fantasy busts of the season, but you want to take us through a few guys who you feel like just completely underperformed, were not themselves this season.
Well, in the case of McCaffrey and like even Tyreek Hill, I mean, those players are in the descending portion of their career, right? So if you look at it from a statistical, numerical perspective, and you look at their age, at their position, the thing about both of them is they're physically gifted. So even on their decline, they're going to continue to produce because they're that talented. But we should have reset our expectations for decreased production from their peak of 2023. And there's something to be said about momentum in life and in fantasy football. Ooh. And with McCaffrey and Tyreek Hill, what you're doing is you're buying at the very peak, right? At the very highest valuation. So it made it difficult for them to continue to maintain that value. And I would say the last guy is Breece Hall.
Sure.
And Breece Hall, look, it's more of his situation and the dumpster fire that is known as the New York Jets. I mean, you got a bad owner, a bad GM who's been fired, who made bad personnel decisions. He had a bad coordinator, a bad offensive line. Your quarterback's acting as the coach, the coordinator, and the GM all in one.
Oh, boy.
The whole thing was a recipe for disaster, but it's only clear after the season. It's like, I actually thought that they would be better despite the dysfunction, and I would not hesitate to draft Breece Hall again next year under different circumstances. Although one thing we know for sure, is if they're not getting rid of the owner, which is Woody Johnson.
Or the offensive coordinator, which is Aaron Rodgers. All right, real quick.
No, they are getting rid of him.
He's gone? Done.
Yeah, he'll be done next year.
Real quick, before we let you go, give me one people heading to the semifinal of their playoffs in fantasy. What do they need to think about? One tip. Let's go.
Well, it comes down. It's really hard. It's simple in theory, but in practice, it's really hard. You need three components. I know you wanted one, but here's the three things you need: good guys in good situations. You need the matchups to go well, and you need the weather to be in your favor. Those are the three things.
All right, good guy. All right, matchups and weather. I'll check it. Wouldn't mind you having your eyes on my lineup as I go into this week. I need this win here on this Studio 40 Live League.
Can I just say less is more at the end. You've gotten this far.
Yeah.
You're going to do just fine. Just keep it simple. Don't overthink it.
Okay. Dance with who you brought. Did you tell me that one time?
Exactly.
Hey, let's go. Leo, appreciate you. We got you a couple times still before the football season is done. Tim Collum always there for you when you're looking for the perfect home in and around the Sacramento region. HouseRealEstate.com. That's who lets us do this each and every week. Take it to the house with Leo. Thanks, buddy. Appreciate you. We'll see you next time.